Hello everyone. This video is going to show you how to set up a password protected Google form for the next time you give your quiz or test through a Google form. So I have this in preview mode already just to show you my example. And as you can see, I have my first question is, please type in the password below. And so as the teacher, I would give my students the password. If we were in classroom, I would maybe verbally tell it to them or have it written on the board. Or if we're remote, I might type it in the chat box or something so that they have access to it. So my password for this is Bubbles. But what I want to show you right now is if I click next and don't answer it, I have it required, and it gives the student an error message. This is a required question. So now that I've given my password Bubbles to students, I'm going to type it in incorrectly and show you what happens when they don't type it in correctly and hit next. So I made mine case sensitive. So password is case sensitive. They'll get a new error. Please make sure you're typing it in correctly. So they should have typed in a capital B. And so if they type it in correctly, they don't have an error message there, and they can click next and go on to the next section. Okay, so that's how it will work. And now I'll show you how to set it up. And so what I did was I sectioned off my Google form. And so my first section, of course, is the password question. Once they type that in correctly, they'll be taken to my next section, which I like an information section, so that when I sort this in my spreadsheet later, I can sort by class period or last name, whatever I need to do, especially when I want to enter it in my grade book later. I can put it alphabetical order by class period. So I have those questions there, and then once they fill out that information, then they can begin the test or the quiz. And so then I have my quiz questions in the third section. So how I set this up is I came over here to my toolbar in a Google form, and I said add section. Okay, so because I'm below the first section, it automatically put the section as section 2, but I want it to be my first section. So I'm going to come over here to the 3 dots, and I'm going to select move section, and I'm going to make my cursor the double arrows, and I'm going to drag it up to the top. Okay, and then I'm going to click save. So now that I've done that, my old password section drops to section 2, and now I have my new section up here. So I'm just going to title this new password section just for the video today. And then if I want to, I can type in a description here. I don't have to, but on the other one, on my original example, I said to begin this quiz test, please enter the password given to you by your teacher, just to give them a little heads up. Put description for the information piece and to begin the test. Okay. So now I need to add a question. And so you can just come up here to the plus sign and add a question after you've started your section. So the question will be something related to having the kids type in your password. So you can say, type your password in here. What is the password, and make it an actual question. For my original one, I just said, please type in the password below. You can do whatever you want. If the question doesn't automatically go to a short answer text, that's okay. You can come to this drop down and select short answer. And then I immediately make it required so that I don't forget. And to make this so that the kids have to put in the correct password before moving on, I come to the 3 dots here. And then I choose response validation from this drop down. So you can keep it a number if you want to, but I'm going to select text. I'm going to keep this as contains because I want it to be the exact match. Then I'm going to type in my password, and I'm going to make this one winter with a capital W. I just like making things case sensitive just to give it a little extra security. And I'm going to leave this blank for right now because I want to show you what happens if you leave this blank. All right, so we've already set this up. We are good to go. And then I'm going to say, I want to keep this go to section 3, the information about you, because that is the next section. If I wanted to, I could change this and say go to section 2, but really section 2 in this example is just another set of the password questions. So I'm going to have them skip that for right now. So I'm going to put this in preview mode with my little eyeball up here, and I'm going to show you, remember we left that one section blank. So I'm going to type in my old password and hit next. And now see, look, it tells them the password must contain winter. So I don't want them to see that. I want them to get the password from me. So in order to change that, I'm going to come back to my question and this custom error text. So this is basically saying, what do you want the kids to see if they put in the wrong password? All right. The password is case sensitive. Please make sure you are typing it in correctly. And so I just like to give them that little heads up so that they can say, oh yeah, I forgot to capitalize the W, or whatever from my teacher. So I'll just show you this again now. And so let's say I type in the wrong word again and I hit next. Now it gives them the correct error message. The password is case sensitive. Please make sure you are typing it in correctly. Let's say you have multiple class periods, and while your period 1 students have already taken the Google form, you don't want them to share the period 1 password with, let's say, period 4. So once your period 1 students are all in the Google form, already taking the quiz or test, come back to the question in your editable version of the Google form, and you can actually come in here and just change this to another word. You don't have to mess with anything else. You don't have to come back down to the 3 dots other than check that response validation is check marked. And then once you change that, the password then is changed for the next person who opens your form. So as you can see, if I type in winter, it's going to tell me that's incorrect now. But if I type in January, the correct word, it'll take me to my next section because that is correct. If you ever want to take off the password option or the response validation, obviously you can delete the entire section, or you can come down here, click the 3 dots and just click response validation again. And as you can see, the response validation run away. If you want to bring it back, it doesn't bring it back the way you had it before. You have to recreate the response validation that you want. So I hope this helps you, gives you a little bit more comfort in knowing who is on your form during your class periods. It does not block students from opening new tabs, but it does keep your test a little more secure in the moment.